All right, guys, we're going to rock and roll here in a matter of moments on the Jerry and Jerry Show. Mics are slowly going hot across all social media platforms. Take a look at the screen for today's headlines. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer Jerry Hootie Ratcliffe on the show. He needs absolutely no introduction. His content, the best of the best. And if you're not on jerryratcliffe.com as a subscriber of jerryratcliffe.com, you sincerely and truly are missing the best of Virginia sports content humanly possible. It's $8 a month. The cost of a cup of coffee, goodness gracious, coffee is $8.
You're right.
And ladies, I mean, a venti latte, mochaccino, grande, venti, vanilla cream, or whatever they're calling it right now. My wife says, let's go to Starbucks. All right, honey.
With a shot of raspberry.
$30 later. Love you, sweetheart. I know you're watching the show. So one less cup of coffee and you get the best Virginia sports content humanly possible. It seems like an absolute no-brainer to me. Virginia's got Wright State in the NCAA tournament. They're an 18.5-point favorite, depending on where you're shopping. We're going to have a lot of fun today on the Jerry and Jerry Show. Judah, we're not live on my Facebook yet. Let's take a look at that when you can. And we're going to get rocking and rolling here on the Jerry and Jerry Show. We are live on the group, J-Dubs. Like and share the show. Like and share the show. Hootie, they can hear us. They cannot see us. Give them something to wet their whistle here before the show starts.
Oh, wow. It's just kind of fun to be back in the mix again in March. Last year help if I used a microphone, wouldn't it? It's just nice to be back in the mix of March Madness again. Last year they didn't make the field, and a lot of people don't realize it, but Virginia hasn't won an NCAA tournament game since 2019 when they won the national championship. That was the last time they experienced any joy in the NCAA tournament. So I'm sure not only is Ryan Odom and his team excited about this, but Virginia fans have to be fired up because they should win easily on Friday. There's no guarantees, but they should advance on to the next round and face the winner of the Tennessee, I guess, SMU/Miami of Ohio play-in game on Sunday.
We'll talk about that on the program today. I need to get it up on jerryratcliffe.com, big Facebook as well, Judah. And we can rock and roll here. When you're ready, give me the thumbs up when those are up and running, J-Dubs. And we'll get the party started as viewers and listeners are excited to see the show live on LinkedIn. We are live on social media platforms, but you do want to check out my personal Facebook and then the Big Jerry Ratcliffe Facebook page there, J-Dubs. We are live on Hootie's Twitter account. Viewers and listeners of Hootie's Twitter account, retweet that show for us, viewers and listeners. That would mean the world, the absolute world to us. All right, we can rock and roll, Judah, when you're ready. Welcome to the Jerry and Jerry Show, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us. It's a pleasure to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille network on a show that features the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer, Jerry Hootie Ratcliffe. This show live wherever you get your social media and podcasting content. We have NCAA basketball, ladies and gentlemen, right around the corner. Virginia's got a matchup. It's got a date. It's got a rendezvous with Wright State. And I'll tell you what, the Wahoos are clicking 18.5-point favorites against Wright State in what is technically the second round of the NCAA tournament. Virginia was a whiskers hair away from beating the number one team in the nation, the Duke Blue Devils, in the ACC tournament. I'm going to ask Jerry Ratcliffe today if that performance against the Blue Devils was the top performance for UVA this season on the hardwood. Goodness gracious, Hugo was driving the Boozer kid, who is maybe the NCAA Player of the Year, the College Basketball Player of the Year, and certainly a top 4 pick in the upcoming NBA draft. Hugo was giving him fits. We'll talk, should Hugo start over Grunlow on today's show. We'll talk about that matchup against the Devils and what the Who's need to do to replicate or duplicate the output against Duke in the NCAA tournament. They are the 8th ranked team in the country according to the coaches poll, the 9th ranked team in the country according to the AP poll. Duke and UVA are the creme de la creme in the Atlantic Coast Conference, but we have a couple of other teams from the ACC dancing in March as well. We'll take your comments, we'll take your questions, put them in the feed, and we'll relay them live on air. We encourage you, the viewer and listener, to subscribe to jerryratcliffe.com. The best content, Virginia sports related, is available at jerryratcliffe.com. Judah Wickower, studio camera, and then a 2-shot to welcome the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer. Open up that Facebook Messenger, if you could, so we can communicate. Hootie Ratcliffe, good Tuesday morning to you, my friend.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, brother.
You're wearing the green. I forgot my green.
That's right. I got a little bit on.
Yeah,
My lady friend would chastise me if I didn't, since she's a Murphy. So a Boston Murphy. So you don't get much more Irish than that, right?
My wife is also Irish, and she did chastise me as I was walking out the door for not having any green on, but we were running late for school, so I just decided to get in the family Ford Explorer and drive our 2nd grader to school. My friend, we start every show with scatter shooting with Jerry Ratcliffe. The show is yours.
Yeah, just to follow up on what we were talking about, Virginia hasn't won a NCAA tournament game since 2019, and they were, considerable favorites in those 3 games that they were upset in, Ohio, Furman, and Colorado State. So you can never take anything for granted, but I think Ryan Odom is probably doing a masterful job of reminding his players that they have to bring not necessarily their A game, but they can't bring much less than that to their opening round game and against Wright State, because that's what teams like that live for, is a chance to knock off a Power 4 school.
You are a diehard sports fan across the board. Where does the NCAA tournament stack up with the best sports viewing and sports experience across the year for you?
Well, it's huge. I mean, I'm more of a football fan than I am basketball, but so I love college football and some NFL, but and I'm a huge golf fan too. So the majors are a big deal, but the NCAA tournament is different because there's just so many teams involved, and you have access to pretty much every game in the tournament, which is pretty nice the way CBS has figured it out. And so it's right up there. The bowls aren't what they used to be. It's mostly just college football playoffs now, which is a lot fewer teams. So en masse, this would be the premier spectator event, I would think, but just because of the numbers.
The month of March for the Miller family, for our family, it starts with my sister-in-law's birthday. Then closely thereafter is my wife's birthday. Then St. Patrick's Day, which is today. My wife is completely Irish. Mom and dad both Irish. She's Irish. St. Patty's Day is a holiday for the Irish. Then March Madness. First, I should have said the culmination of the ACC tournament. My sister-in-law's birthday, my wife's birthday, St. Patty's Day, selection Sunday. My son's birthday is on the 20th.
Wow.
And then the NCAA tournament. This is literally...
That's quite a month.
It's quite a month. It's quite a month. My in-laws are in town for a couple of weeks to celebrate the most beloved month of the calendar, March, in our household. Virginia, a whisker's hair away from beating Duke in the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
We'll start open-ended. What did you see?
Well, I thought this game felt to me like a Final Eight or a Final Four game because the spectrum was packed, mostly with Virginia and Duke fans. There were some fans from other schools there, but the atmosphere was electric. It was intense, loud. The players were totally into it. To me, I know it's cliche, but it was like two heavyweights just throwing punches for 15 rounds, and I know Duke was minus a couple players, which was
Two starters.
yeah, noticeable. And Grunlow was injured; he couldn't shoot the ball because of an injury to his right hand in the Miami game. And even Ugo, as brilliant as he was, would from time to time be on a stationary bike or have a brace around his back section sitting on the bench when he was out of the game. So Virginia wasn't exactly 100%, but
Which is the case for a lot of teams this time of year.
yeah, I mean it's hard to stay healthy when by the time you get to March. There's a lot of teams missing key personnel, and but I just thought it was one heck of a basketball game, and that's what an ACC championship game should be. It's what they used to be year after year after year. It's kind of fallen off a little bit, but I thought this kind of brought it back to the old days, to where you just slugged it out for 40 minutes.
Hugo had to up his NBA stock. He was fantastic. I understand Malik Thomas missed a key free throw down the stretch, the front end.
Right.
And those free throws will probably haunt Malik for a long time. But he played very well.
He did. He was all tournament first team,
Yeah.
along with Ugo.
Sam Lewis played well. The team showed its well-rounded nature.
Second team, actually. Sam
second
Lewis
team.
was first team.
Sam was first with Hugo.
Yeah.
Sam Lewis played extremely well. The team showed balance. The Big Boozer kid was rattled. His twin brother was fantastic, especially in the first half.
He truly was, and nobody expected that.
No one expected that. Is this the best basketball Virginia has played this season in the loss to Duke?
Probably so, just because of the competition and what was at stake. The moment wasn't too big for them, which
Right.
was something that Ryan Odom had preached to them. There's probably been some other games where they maybe played better offensively or defensively in a game, but not in a game as meaningful, or maybe not as against the quality of competition that they did Saturday night. So I would have to say yes, considering those circumstances, it was, and with just a little bit of luck, they could have pulled it off. And you're right about Ugo dominating. Boozer was asked after the game about facing him, and he said I clearly was frustrated, and the guy's a phenomenal shot blocker. He gave him complete kudos, and Ugo complimented Boozer back and saying you could tell he was frustrated, but he managed to keep himself together and came back and helped his team win. So it was just two really good competitors going after each other for a whole game.
Dale Thompson watching the program. He says, "Good morning, Jerry Ratcliffe. Good morning to me.
Howdy.
Great to see you guys." Dale Thompson, let us know where you're watching the program. put
He's over in the Valley, I
Oh,
think.
he's in the Valley?
I believe so.
Okay, fantastic. Dale, we love when you watch the show. Renee Pettiford is watching in North Carolina.
She always is watching.
This is her favorite time of the year, Renee Pettiford,
It is, yeah.
in North Carolina. She wants to know how far we think this Virginia basketball team could dance in March.
Wow. I don't know. It's a tough bracket. I mean, each round you're going to meet somebody just a little bit better, I think, because you got Kentucky and Iowa State lingering out there, and then ultimately Michigan, if it goes that far, the number one seed in the Midwest region. It's too hard to predict because, any team can get hot, and if you get hot at the right time and get the right matchups, and sometimes some of those teams that you might fear in later rounds, sometimes they get knocked off and they're not there. We've seen it with Virginia before, back in, what was it, 83, 84, when a lot of people didn't even think they deserved to be in the tournament, and they ended up in the Final Four because they got hot at the right time. And North Carolina got who they were looked like they were destined to face North Carolina with Jordan, Perkins, and Worthy, and they got beat by Syracuse or Indiana, and then Virginia beat Indiana and advanced to Seattle. So we've seen it before, and as the way Virginia shoots threes. If they get hot and stay hot, the sky's the limit. They could beat anybody in the country the way they play, and I think this team is built for the postseason because it's guard heavy. You got shooters and scorers galore. You've got physical guys in the middle with Grunlow and Ugo, and then DeRitter and Tillis. So they shouldn't be outmanned in any situation that they find themselves in. I think if those three-point shooters get hot, they could end up going all the way to Indianapolis. But remains to be seen. You got to play your best basketball. You can't take a night off.
Amen, brother. You got family watching the program. Is it Emily Peary? Is that how I say the last name?
That's right.
She's watching the show?
Yep.
She's giving you some props right now.
Sweetheart. My granddaughter.
Yep, your granddaughter. Yeah. You are right. Dale Thompson is watching, and thank you for sharing the show, Emily. We appreciate you sincerely. Thank you kindly. Dale says Waynesboro, so you were right, in the Valley. Folks are watching. It's interesting. We have viewers and listeners in Allentown, Pennsylvania, almost regularly on this program. And the viewers.
I think that's Todd Wilfong and his wife.
Is that what it is?
Big UVA supporters, yeah.
Yeah, we got heat map with IP addresses in Allentown, Pennsylvania, almost every single show. They're asking what I was curious about Ugo, and should Ugo be starting instead of Grunlow now, with Grunlow not being 100%?
Well, in theory, probably so, because Grunlow, unless his hand, we don't know what condition his hand is in. We do know that he wasn't himself in the championship game because if everybody was paying attention, there was one point in the game, I think in the second half, where he had a wide open three.
Passed it.
And he looked and he said no. He just couldn't shoot it. His hand wasn't capable of making a solid shot, so he passed it off. So I think under those circumstances, Ugo probably should start. He'll certainly play a lot more minutes, even if he doesn't. But I think he probably should. It's an interesting dynamic because a lot of times, I don't know if it's superstition or just a coach has a feel wanting to start the same people as long as he can. And their guys have started all 31, 32 games, whatever it is, same lineup every game. And one thing that impressed me for the last home game of this season against Virginia Tech a little over a week ago, is that Ryan went to the seniors that are on the bench and said, guys, I can start you. It'd be fine with me to start you in this game because you're seniors and it's senior day. What do you think? And they said no. They said no. Let's don't disrupt a good thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we'll just come off the bench, which I thought was an incredible sacrifice for those kids to say that. And it shows that they are all about team and trying to win. And so keeping that in mind, Ryan's the boss, and if he tells Ugo to start, I'm sure Ugo will start. But and I think he should, unless Grunlow's hand is recovered, and I don't know that it will be in a week's time.
The very straightforward question. Dale Thompson says, you guys are awesome, that he loves the show. Thank you, Dale. We're going to get to Jennifer's comments in Richmond. We got some folks in Hampton Roads watching the program. William McChesney, the mayor of McIntyre, watching the show. We appreciate your viewership and listenership of our content. I'll be very straightforward with you here. How much better is the team with Ugo on the floor now than Grunlow?
Oh, much, I think.
I don't even think it's comparable.
Yeah, I mean, he's just so much more physical. He's got a bigger, stronger body. Grunlow, for 19, is okay, but as he continues in the program, he'll have to add more muscle, and he just doesn't have quite as much experience as Ugo, and he's the premier shot blocker in the nation. I mean, there's no denying that. He has the numbers to prove it.
He's a better finisher around the rim with flushing the basketball.
Absolutely.
He's better on the pick and roll with Chance on the alley-oop.
Right.
And finishing around the rim. He's the better shot blocker. I think he's a better rebounder. The only thing that I think Grunlow brings over Ugo, and this is a healthy Grunlow, is shooting.
Yes.
And Grunlow's not healthy, and we saw him pass open jump shots.
Right.
At this point, it seems to me, now, I understand superstition. And I understand not rocking a boat that has you as the 8th-ranked team in the coaches poll, the 9th-ranked team in the AP poll, and a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament with a 29-5 overall record. I mean, what a record! 29-5, second in the regular season ACC, second in the ACC tournament. I get not rocking the boat, but I also. The eye test clearly suggests that Ugo's way better right now.
Yeah, I don't understand superstition. I've never believed in that stuff. But there's no denying that he's proven it on the floor, and 9 blocks against Duke in that championship game, 5 of them against Boozer. He was just a dominating performance, and I mean, it shattered Tim Duncan's record for most blocks in an ACC tournament, which was 14, and Ugo ended up with 21, for goodness sakes. And he thought he got robbed a couple, I believe, in the Virginia Tech game. He thought he had a couple more, but.
And he alters even more shots than he blocks.
Yeah, and that's something Jeff Jones pointed out to me earlier this season, was not only does he alter shots, but a lot of times some of these guards will come down into the lane and look up and see him, and they'll just say, no thanks, and they'll pass it back outside. So he's denying shots that weren't even shots. He discourages so many guys from even putting the ball up. So, and that's almost like a turnover, really, if you stop and think about it. And he gets a kick out of it too. I mean, he said, I guess it was after the Virginia Tech game, that he loves seeing the fear in guards' eyes when they come down in the lane and look up and see him, his imposing figure standing there in the lane, knowing that if they even think about it, he's going to swat it. And so He's a very lovable kid.
He's likable. He's affable. He's approachable. He's charming. He's got humor and comedy. He's quick to make a joke. I can see why he makes a good teammate. He hasn't played much basketball. The upside is significant. I said in the beginning of the year, I think the guy with the most NBA upside is Hugo. I stand by that. Folks watching the program left and right, and we're going to get to those comments that are coming in. Renee says, Hugo's my friend's favorite player. Donnie Lanter is watching in Roanoke, Virginia. Mark Brown, let us know where you're watching the show, Mark Brown. He says, great game against Duke. I'm not the coach, laugh out loud, but I think we should have tried Hugo one-on-one versus Boozer and not give their other players wide open shots, but I love their effort against Duke. I know this is controversial, but he thinks Boozer is overrated. I saw a lot of Boozer is overrated from Virginia fans. I'm going to respectfully push back on the Virginia fans about Boozer being overrated. I understand that he had a lot of resistance against Hugo, but guys, we watched Boozer in the second half be the team's point guard.
Yeah.
At 6'9". And we're not talking a guard at 6'9". We're talking a power forward. Mm-hmm. I think, if anything, to me, Boozer improved his draft stock for me. And why I saw him improve his draft stock is because he rebounded. The passing that he did in the first half and the second half.
He's a great passer.
An unbelievable passer. And then I saw him assume point guard duties. I'm like, I literally was screaming at this to TV while watching the show, albeit a couple of beers deep here. He's the point guard now. He's the point guard now. What is going on here? I was impressed with what was your take on Boozer?
Yeah, I mean, the game plan was clear to try to diminish him as much as they could, and they did. He was 3 of 17 shooting, but he did other things on the court and held his teammates together. He got the ball to his brother quite often in open spaces to where he could score. Boozer is going to be probably one of the top 3 guys drafted, I think, and he's a phenomenal athlete. And it's not surprising that Virginia would. Their scouting report he's at the top of every scouting report. You try to do all you can to shut him down. Either that or let him score at will, or not at will, but let him get his 25 points and try to make the other guys beat you. But it hasn't worked out well either. So I think I have ultimate respect for Boozer. He's going to be in the NBA for a long time.
I totally agree. Mark Brown watching the program in Prince George, Virginia. Comments continue to come in. Southie Bagwell. You know Southie?
I know Southie. Yeah, I've met Southie. One of the many people on Twitter I've met throughout the years, and met him at a game a couple of times this year. Really nice fellow.
Southie, let us know where you're watching the program, if you can. He says Grundle has been starting the game with 2 fouls. And he's loose with the ball. He's not as confident at this point of the season as what Southie is seeing.
Yeah, well, he's right. The last 2 or 3 games, he's picked up 2 fouls in a blink of an eye, and usually has to go and sit on the bench, and that has put more pressure and more demands on Hugo, who was only getting like 17, 18 minutes a game throughout the season. He's been clocking a lot more floor time because of Grunlow's foul troubles. And while it has enhanced Hugo's numbers, it is also pushing him physically more than he's accustomed to. But he's responded well. And there's been a couple times where in the second half where he's just looked exhausted from it's physically demanding to play Ryan Odom's style of basketball, not just because you're getting down the floor on offense, but the pressing on defense as well. And the center may not be involved quite as heavily in that Yeah, it's taken a little bit of a toll on, I think, Ugo a little bit, just because he's had to be out there.
I think what's happened with Grunlow, and you hit it perfectly. Grunlow is so talented, and Grunlow has got NBA upside because he's a stretch five. He's a shot blocker. He's a rebounder. He's a gifted passer.
And he'll be really good.
I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Grunlow's issue is he's undersized physically, and as the season has gotten more significant with the opponents we're playing, the I don't want to say frailness, but the fact that he's 19 years old and has not gotten into a weight room as significant as other bigs have is getting exposed.
Yeah.
And as a result, he's picking up fouls that he otherwise should not be picking up.
Right.
And Hugo is, 4 years older than him?
Yeah.
And 4 years, and when you're talking 19 versus 23, is huge.
It is.
I mean, Hugo's a man. Grunlow's developing into a man.
Yeah. And Grunlow was playing against those kind of guys in Europe, and a lot of times he would get penalized for it because he couldn't physically match up with those guys. So,
and it's also a different game.
And it's a different game as well. But it's just, Mike Curtis will change his body over the next couple of years, and maybe he'll look like Ugo by the time he's through.
Comments continue to come in here on the show. This is an interesting one. The folks are a little frustrated with Malik Thomas right now. You want to handle any of that? I understand the missed free throw, but you know what? He played his tail off against Duke.
Yeah, I mean, he overall had a pretty good tournament if you look at his numbers. And I thought he closed out his final season making for a while there, he was kind of in a lull.
For a while, he looked like a mid-major player that was playing in the ACC.
Yeah.
He does a lot of things good, a lot of things pretty good, but nothing especially great.
And down the stretch, I thought he contributed more scoring-wise, which is one of the reasons they brought him in here in the first place. And he had I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it seemed like to me he had pretty good offensive output for the 3 games in Charlotte. Again, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but just from trying to remember, I thought he was an effective scorer, and that's what they needed him to be. And they're going to need him to be that going forward.
100%. 100%. If you look at the roster, guys who could create their shot off the dribble, Chance Mallory can do that. Malik Thomas can do that. Jakari White can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Lewis can do that.
Dallin has gotten to where he can make some nice drives too.
Yeah. DeRitter can do that.
Yeah.
They need Malik Thomas to be a creator off the dribble when jump shots are not falling.
Right.
I wouldn't say Malik Thomas is a pure shooter. I'd say he's a streaky shooter. But he is extremely important. I mean, they're all important to this team at this time of year. What else struck you or stood out to you in that ACC tournament run that either concerned you or you would like to see duplicated come Big Dance?
Well, Sam Lewis was nearly unstoppable. At one time, he was shooting 80% from the three-point mark. You don't get any hotter than that. If nothing else, maybe he should have gotten more shots. But it's good to see him entering the NCAAs on a hot streak. They need Jakari to heat up again too. And he had a decent. Although they shortened their bench for the Duke game, and Jakari played only a little bit less than 10 minutes.
That was on my questions to ask you. What happened there?
It was just I don't know exactly. We asked Ryan. He just said that they decided to shorten their bench, and it was situational. He's not hurt.
Is Jakari a defensive liability?
I think he can be, and maybe the matchup just wasn't right against Duke, and so they had to make some adjustments. But I don't think they're not going to run into too many teams as talented as Duke as they maneuver through the pool.
Jakari White is critically important, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
for this team. Olivia Branch watching the program, Wanda Anderson Parnell watching the program, Charles Hurt watching the program, Vanessa Parkhill watching the program, Southie says he is watching the program, and Quinton, Virginia. Let's go to the Panhandle of Florida, where we have a lot of viewers and listeners, interestingly,
We love that.
on the Panhandle of Florida here. This question's come in from the Sunshine State. What's going on with Hall? He seems to be lacking a lot of confidence with his jump shots and shot a couple of air balls in the ACC tournament.
I don't think he has any confidence problems at all. I
Just
think
don't think Hall's the best shooter, frankly.
Yeah, he's just not. Yeah, I mean, he can hit threes and stuff, but sometimes he'll maybe force up a shot that it's more like a prayer than a solid shot. But he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. His confidence is fine. I think he'll be a major contributor in the NCAA just because of his experience. He's played in 3 NCAA tournaments, made it to the Sweet 16 last year with BYU, and that kind of experience is invaluable at this time of year, particularly when you're on a team that doesn't have a lot of guys that have played in the big dance, and so he can be kind of a calming influence. He is anyway, but even more so when the pressure's on in a big moment like this. So he's fine. There's nothing to worry about there.
Viewers and listeners, comments in the feed, I will relay them live on air. How about DeRitter? He's catching some flack right now. I can't imagine why anyone would be giving DeRitter flack for the year that he's had a first-team all-conference. But he did have less than desirable ACC tournament championship outing.
You got to consider that he's just like Boozer. He's at the very top of every scouting report. Other teams are going to do everything they can to take away any strengths that he has. If it means double teaming him or trying to deny him getting the ball, trying to deny him an easy path to the basket, whatever it takes. Defensively, that's what they're going to do to try to reduce his effectiveness in the game, because he can impact the game. He can turn a game around in 2 or 3 trips down the floor. It's up to Virginia to find creative ways to combat that and find ways to get him the ball. They may have to set some picks or screens or something to help him shake some of these defenders or something. But he didn't have a great final against Duke. His numbers were
5 points, 6 boards, 3 turnovers, 1 of 6 from the field.
Yeah, 1 of 6. And so offensively, he wasn't as effective as he normally would be. And people are going to try to take him out of the game. And Duke did that the first time they played, and he and Boozer kind of negated each other. It's kind of the same thing this time. Neither one of them were the man on their team like they normally would be. So, but again, they're not going to run into a lot of people that can play defense like Duke either. And Duke is one of the better defensive teams around. So I don't know that he'll see that kind of defense in the early rounds of the NCAA.
Jonathan H. 1493 is watching on YouTube. Loudoun County, Virginia, born and raised in CVille, though, but he's watching in Loudoun County, Virginia. Jonathan H., thank you for watching the show on YouTube. Viewers and listeners, if you have a comment, put it in the feed. Let us know where you're watching. I love to shout out your location on the program. William, we've dubbed him the mayor of McIntyre. He thought Jakari White was grabbing his wrist after a contested possession. Maybe not injured, but seemed that he had some pain he needed to shake off. I'll platform or segue Williams' comments into the shortening of the rotation. Against Duke, Devin Tillis and Jakari White, 11 minutes for Tillis, 9 minutes for Jakari White. My question for you, as they go deeper in the big dance, does a 9-man balanced rotation look more 7-ish in its feel, with Chance and Hugo potentially coming off the bench, or does he keep the 9-man balanced rotation with Tillis and Jakari White getting minutes into the teens?
I think it depends on the matchup. Against Wright State, I expect them to return to the normal amount of playing time. If they
Against Wright State, I want to see Elijah Gertrude in there. I want to see Odom's son in there. I want to see Carter Lang in there.
well, you may very
Yeah.
well. If they're favored by 18.5 and win by that many, then you probably will. Against Tennessee, or I'm thinking probably SMU would be. I don't think Miami can beat SMU, but I'm guessing it'll be Tennessee. Could be SMU. I don't know that they would shorten the bench to the way they did against Duke or not. I think if they can, they'll play the normal minutes against a team like that. They're going to have to. I think they're going to have to run into a team along the lines of Michigan or somebody like that before they're going to shorten their rotation to the way they did in the Duke game.
Who you see Tennessee, a Virginia-Tennessee matchup?
That's the way I'm viewing it right now. Barnes does a really good job.
He's a hell of a coach.
He's a hell of a coach. Was Virginia's coach for a couple of hours back in 1990, I guess it was. That's a whole show we could do
That's
on that.
a paywalled piece of content right there.
But
People would eat that up, Hootie, if you wrote that up.
if that comes to fruition, it's Virginia, Tennessee. I'm sure we will write that up. And that was one of the stranger moments in Virginia athletic history when Mr. Barnes was Virginia's head basketball coach for a few hours. But what were we talking about?
You were talking about Tennessee. You think Tennessee is going to be the matchup?
Yeah, I think Tennessee will be there. They're pretty good. They normally advance, and I think it'd be a heck of a basketball game, Virginia and Tennessee.
Oh, I think it would be.
I think it would be another knockdown dragout.
100%. That's what I was seeing. Up and down game, scoring affair, and then you got a potential matchup. What is that? The Sweet 16. And you know what? This play-in game is the first four. I think is technically billed as the first round.
I think it is, yeah.
Which is odd to say.
Which it really shouldn't be.
Which it should not be, right?
Is.
And then Virginia and Wright State is technically billed as the second round. But I'm old school and look at Virginia Wright State as the first round with a Tennessee matchup, old school wise, in the second round. But then if they get through Tennessee, and we're not trying to count our chickens here, but if they get through Tennessee, it's a Kentucky Iowa State matchup waiting to happen. Time will tell on that. I will say on the other side of the Midwest bracket, the Michigan side, Michigan's path is a little bit less friction or a little clearer with Alabama starting point guard arrested on Monday.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Marijuana charges, right?
More than a pound of marijuana
Yeah.
on the starting point guard for Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of their top players, their best three-point shooter, averaging about 16, 17 points a game. He's been arrested. He's facing some felony charges right now. He's been suspended from the team. You're talking Alabama, the 4 seed in the Midwest. Their starting point guard is in the slammer. Well, he's out on bail right now, but he's facing some serious heat, the Bama point guard. What do you make of the Midwest bracket across the board? What jumped out to you about the draw, total draw, not just Midwest, but all the teams selected? My wife is a huge UConn fan. UConn is in the East. Duke is in the East. St. John's is in the East.
Yeah, I'm surprised they kept St. John's in the East with UConn.
St. John's a 5 seed, beat UConn
Now
in the Big East final.
That was the biggest surprise to me of the whole field, was that St. John's being a 5 seed after they had
Won the Big East regular season and the tournament.
And the tournament.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often.
Doesn't happen very often.
Especially against UConn.
And I've seen, my wife's a UConn grad. We watch a lot of Big East basketball in our house. For the money, I think there's no better play-by-play guy than Gus Johnson. I love Gus Johnson. The color commentating of Jim Jackson is phenomenal. That's my favorite tandem, Gus Johnson and Jim Jackson. They call all of the Big East primetime games. St. John's has been a primetime, inclusion because they're the best team on paper in the Big East. St. John's is a damn good basketball team.
Oh, no question.
And for them to be a 5 seed, I was surprised.
Yeah. And going back to my early days in the business and going to a lot of NCAA tournaments and some Final Fours and stuff, being around Rick Pitino is a great experience because he has such a rich history in the game and can tell stories like none other. And I loved to just sit and listen to him talk about various things in the history of college basketball that he's been through. But yeah,
he's been through a lot, folks.
Yeah, he has been. And I mean, he completely resurrected that St. John's program, which was at rock bottom.
Rick Pitino, in a lot of ways, resurrected his career.
He did, indeed.
He was outcasted.
He had to go coach in Greece.
He coached across the pond
Turkey
in Europe.
or somewhere,
Yeah. And now he's back has St. John's on the map. Rick Pitino, ladies and gentlemen, is 73 years old. The energy of Rick Pitino on the sidelines during a basketball game. Viewers and listeners, watch Pitino. He is must-see television. Same with Danny Hurley. These are two of the most. A lot of times when Hurley and Pitino are coaching, I'm watching the coaches as much as the basketball.
It reminds me a lot of the Big East back when the Big East was
100%.
was the power in the country.
Yeah.
And they had all the great coaches.
All the great coaches.
So many great programs.
Calhoun, Boeheim. I mean, all the great coaches.
Yeah.
Pitino in the all-white suit, almost Colonel Sanders-esque.
I'm not real crazy about that look.
I think it's great. I mean, he looks like Colonel Sanders to me. But he wears the all-white suit when St. John's does the whiteout. It is awesome. It is awesome. Pitino coaching against his son is awesome. I mean, he's got it's just great. I love this time of year, as you can tell. What else struck you from the NCAA tournament bracket? Anything else jump out to you?
Not really. I mean, I thought the brackets were pretty well balanced overall, which sometimes that gets a little sideways, but I don't think anybody has an easy path to Indianapolis. There's a lot of good teams in every region.
I think my wife made this comment. Because of the transfer portal and because of pay for play, there's a lot of teams that could potentially win this. I think
Duke, more so than ever.
More so than ever. Duke on paper is my favorite, especially if they get looks like one of the two starters is going to be back. Their starting center is going to play.
I think he might make it back.
Yeah, might make it back. They're on paper, I think the team on paper to win, but anyone can win this. And that parity and that unexpectedness is what makes a tournament great.
Yeah, everybody. So a lot of the national commentators will say, "Oh, it's got to come from one of these top 4 seeds," but I don't buy that.
Neither do I.
I think there's 10 or 12 teams that have a chance to be in Indianapolis, and if they just play really good basketball, and somebody always gets hot that you don't expect. So I think it's going to be a really fun tournament, more fun than usual. I don't know that we'll see a lot of upsets again, though. I think those days may be gone because of the NIL, but I think there's just so many really good basketball teams out there that it's just going to be good basketball.
So Hootie Ratcliffe's crystal ball says pick chalk across the board.
Yeah,
You say go with chalk. Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Yeah, because you think the favorites. You think the favorites more so than ever now.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of upsets coming. There'll probably be a couple, but I think the days of Cinderella are kind of over, because anybody that's a good mid-major player is going to get scooped up now by NIL money, and that leaves the mid-majors, kind of a little on the mediocre side, if you ask me. I don't see that happening this year, or maybe any time in the future if they don't straighten things out.
Kenneth Knuckles is watching the program. He wants us to switch gears, and with about 5 minutes left in the program, time flies here. We will switch gears. Basketball fans, it's Friday, March 20th, our oldest son's birthday. And they also have UConn playing late at night as well. So this is a big day in the Miller household. Kid's birthday, UConn and UVA playing. Big day in our household. Kenneth Knuckles is watching on YouTube. He says he was born and raised in Charlottesville. He's watching in Virginia Beach right now and wants us to address UVA lacrosse. He says championship weekend is coming up in Charlottesville at Scott Stadium, and he's concerned with what's happening at UVA. Clearly, they've lost to what? Johns Hopkins. They lost to Towson. They just lost to Maryland.
They gave Maryland a really good game.
Gave Maryland a good game. He says this. He's been told NIL-wise, there's 4 players on Syracuse's roster that are paid $1 million each, which is more than they would make in Major League Lacrosse. What's going on with Virginia lacrosse? I'm straightforward with the viewers and listeners. I am far from a lacrosse expert. I follow the football and basketball teams inside and out. I follow the squash team inside and out. Those are my bread and butters here. I do watch lacrosse when it's on television, or I listen to it, and I do follow them from a box score standpoint. I am not a lacrosse virtuoso, though.
Yeah, I would have to say I'm in that same category, because football and basketball is what moved the needle.
And they're turned into year-round sports.
They have been. There's no seasonal thing with that football and basketball anymore. Most 95% of my focus has been on basketball and will be until it's over. Even though spring football starts today at UVA, we'll be over there tonight doing some interviews. I really haven't had a lot of time to dedicate to baseball or lacrosse or any of the spring sports at this point. It's just, you don't want to stretch yourself too thin at this time of year. And I'll pay more attention to that once basketball's over with. Although sometimes lacrosse starts so early that it's almost over by the time basketball season is complete. I can't really delve into and give you any inside information on what's wrong with the lacrosse team. I know they've struggled in goal some. I don't know if that's the heart of the problem. I've heard stories about NIL getting out of whack in some other rival programs that has left Virginia kind of behind the 8 ball because these other teams are spending bukus of money on talent. Again, I can't get into the specifics of it because I don't like to comment on stuff that I'm not don't have the full knowledge about that I will have later on. But they are struggling. They had a good chance to beat Maryland the other day, which would have been a great win for the program. And
this is what we do know. They finished with a losing record last year.
Yeah, they did.
They finished, 6-8 last year. They made some coaching staff changes. Virginia lacrosse is below 500 this year, which is not a place you generally find.
And they're just now getting into ACC play, right?
Yeah, their losses this year have been to Richmond, which is a top 10 team in the country, Johns Hopkins, Towson, and Maryland. They have Utah at Scott Stadium on Saturday. Then Dartmouth, Notre Dame, Duke, Syracuse, North Carolina, Drexel in the ACC championship. Currently a sub 500 record. The whisperings, this is what I've seen on the chatter on social media and the message boards, is about coaching staff. And it's just because the expectations have been so high.
Right. Well, this program has been to the zenith of the sport for
Forever.
a huge span of time. And when you have those kind of expectations, it's a pressure situation.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the fact that the national championship is here by a freak thing in the scheduling because of the World Cup. I don't know if that puts any more pressure on a coaching staff or not. It would be nice if Virginia was part of that, but you can't necessarily expect that with the changing in the sport with the NIL money. Again, you don't know what's true and what's not true, but we've heard some pretty startling rumors about some other rival programs and the money that they're spending. And I don't know if Virginia can match that or I don't know the details of that at this point, but we'll find out about it. And naturally, people are going to blame the coaches when things aren't right. I mean, they wanted to run Tony Elliott out of town, right? And look what he did for him this past season. You got to have the money to compete in your sport now, and if you don't, money talks, and everybody else rides the bus.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother. Comments continue to come in. We will talk football here. Spring practice starts today.
Right.
Quarterback play. Is this the deepest the position has been talent-wise, and how long? You got what, the Missouri quarterback?
Yeah,
the
you
Pittsburgh
got,
quarterback.
Bo Pribula. Still trying to
Pribula.
We're trying to still get used to some of these new guys, and the Pitt quarterback who started some games before he was relegated to the bench. But both these guys have starting experience and have had put up some impressive numbers during their times as starters at Missouri and Pittsburgh. So it looks like it'll be a really healthy competition in the spring. Who knows who might have an advantage, and even if they'll even decide who the starter is in the spring, a lot of times it's better not to.
Yeah, I don't think
let that continue into the fall camp, because
Right.
if you name a starter in the spring and the other guy's discontented, he might hit the portal again. We've seen that time and time again. So, but yeah, it should be a very healthy quarterback competition throughout the spring.
What can the subscribers of JerryRatcliffe.com, and folks, it's $8 a month. It's the best $8 a month you'll spend. I mean, you're talking 2 or 3 pieces of content over a day at JerryRatcliffe.com, and it's content you're not going to get anywhere else. We're not talking the AI-generated press release content that you see elsewhere. We're talking in-depth content that is Virginia Sports Hall of Fame-backed content. What can folks expect at JerryRatcliffe.com?
Well, we'll be over at UVA football practice later today and take in as much of that as we can, and talking to a couple of the players and to Coach Elliott. So we'll have something on that tomorrow, and continue to follow this basketball team and everything else as we head toward Philadelphia this weekend.
It's going to be awesome. He's Jerry Ratcliffe, JerryRatcliffe.com.
We'll try to squeeze in a podcast if we can work it out with JJ this week.
Jeff
too.
Jones?
Yeah.
Do we have a guest lined up, or are we going to?
I think we might just pick JJ's brain on
like that.
what it takes to get ready for the NCAA tournament.
The Jeff Jones podcasts are absolutely fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. Coach Jones is extremely affable and knowledgeable when it comes to this sport. Jerry Ratcliffe is a Virginia Sports Hall of Famer. He is covering Virginia sports like no one else has, and no one else does at jerryratcliffe.com. His business model is now a subscriber business model where it's $8 a month, and we encourage you, the viewer and listener, to do it. I'm doing it. And the content that I'm getting every day through a daily digest that's sent to my inbox once something is published is justifiable of the subscription. It's just absolutely fantastic. Judah Wickower is behind the camera. Jerry Ratcliffe is the star of the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer. My name is Jerry Miller. This is the Jerry and Jerry Show. The I Love CVille show is up at 12:30. So long, everybody. Nicely done, Hootie.
Thank you, sir. Same to you.